Hey everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Now, if you folks recall, back in early 2016, I blogged DreamWorks' Kung Fu Panda 3, which I still stand by is an awesome, thrilling, and charming sequel where Po became a Kung Fu master as well as a master of Chi, and he also reunited with his long-lost father. And to this day, Kung Fu Panda has got to be one of DreamWorks' most legendary animated franchises of all time, next to Shrek and How to Train Your Dragon. And I'll never forget experiencing the Kung Fu Panda adventure at the DreamWorks Theater at Universal Studios Hollywood. By the way, with the fourth movie coming up in March of next year, I decided to look at the first two movies in this animated martial arts franchise. So, let's start with the first one, released on June 6, 2008, Kung Fu Panda. Now, let's get started. The film centers on Po, a panda who works at a noodle shop who dreams of meeting his idols, the Kung Fu warriors known as the Furious Five: Mantis, Viper, Monkey, Crane, and Tigress. On the day that one of them is to be chosen to be the prophesized Dragon Warrior, Po accidentally falls between them and is chosen to be the legendary warrior instead. Because he doesn't want Po to be a nuisance to everybody, Master Shifu decides to train him in a way to leave the Jade Palace. However, Master Oogway believes that there's more to Po than what Shifu sees, and tells him that he must believe in him and soon. And with the coming of the evil snow leopard Tai Lung, Po must train as hard as he can in order to protect his home from the approaching threat. So, what are my thoughts? Well, to me, despite not seeing this movie in theaters, this has got to be one of DreamWorks' best animated films ever. And to further explain why I love it, let's move on to Mustang notes. The film was directed by John Stevenson in his directorial debut, along with Mark Osborne, from a screenplay by the writing team of Jonathan Abel and Glenn Berger, and a story by Ethan Reif and Cyrus Voris. Publicized work on the movie began in October 2004, with the project being officially announced in September 2005. The film was conceived by DreamWorks Animation's executive Michael Lanchance, originally as a parody of martial arts films. However, director Stevenson instead decided to make it an action comedy wuxia film that incorporates the hero's journey narrative archetype for the lead character, in which the computer animation this time was more complex than anything that DreamWorks has ever done before. As with most DreamWorks animated films, Hans Zimmer, this time collaborating with John Powell, scored the music for Kung Fu Panda. Fun fact, Zimmer visited China to absorb the culture, and he got to know the China National Symphony Orchestra as part of his preparation. By the end of its theatrical run, Kung Fu Panda had grossed $631.7 million on a budget of $130 million, making it the third highest grossing film of 2008, and the highest grossing animated film of that year worldwide. Plus, even though Kung Fu Panda lost to WALL-E at the 81st Academy Awards, Kung Fu Panda won 10 Annie Awards, including Best Animated Feature, out of 16 nominations. However, this did spark controversy when some folks accused DreamWorks head Jeffrey Katzenberg of rigging the vote by buying ASIFA Hollywood memberships with voting power for everyone at DreamWorks Animation. As for the animation, well, in my opinion, the CGI animation for this film is simply gorgeous, and I absolutely love how the martial arts sequences are choreographed. Plus, I've heard that some folks say that the Kung Fu sequences were inspired by several other martial art films like Kung Fu Hustle. Plus, I think the opening hand-drawn animation, while looking pretty similar to Samurai Jack, is absolutely amazing. Special props to Jennifer Yoy Nelson for directing the sequence. Plus, I love how it resembles Chinese shadow puppetry. Plus, I think the buildings, the location, and the setting all look very presentable to keep within the setting of ancient China. Also, like How to Train Your Dragon, I love how Kung Fu Panda relies on its own form of comedy while not turning it into a complete farce. In other words, it doesn't feature any pop culture references at all. And I also found it pretty interesting that this is one of several animated films that features anthropomorphic animals without humans. And this was before films like Rock Dog, Zootopia, and Sing. Also, I absolutely love CeeLo Green's cover of Kung Fu Fighting, which plays during the end credits. And now, let's move on to the characters and the voice actors who brought him to life. The main hero and dragon warrior, Po, is voiced by Jack Black, best known from Tenacious D, School of Rock, the 2005 King Kong remake, the Goosebumps movies, the Jumanji sequels, DreamWorks Shark Tale, and he'll be voicing Bowser in the upcoming Super Mario Bros. Movie this April. To me, Po is a very likable character due to his excitable attitude, and I like that he's a big fan of Kung Fu, which includes the lore of warriors, famous combat moves, dates, and historical artifacts. Plus, while Po is an excellent cook, he does have terrible table manners, and he usually gorges on food whenever he's upset. He's also developed a severe self-loathing, believing himself to be a failure for his size and for being a species not known for a warrior tradition. Next we come to the Furious Five, which include Tigress, voiced by Angelina Jolie, Mantis, voiced by Seth Rogen, Crane, voiced by David Cross, Viper, voiced by Lucy Liu, and Monkey, voiced by Jackie Chan. Now, we all know that these guys are the most skilled warriors in China, and while they initially dismissed Po as the Dragon Warrior, I like that they grow to respect his courage and tenacity, as well as his resilience, culinary skills, and good humor. Plus, I think they have very interesting backstories that are featured on the Secrets of the Furious 5 semi-sequel, which I highly recommend all of you to watch. Anyway, out of all the members of the five, I think Tigress sticks out the most, due to her no-nonsense tomboyish personality. And while she and the five couldn't defeat Tai Lung, I found it very impressive that she manages to counter most of his attacks. Master Shifu is voiced by Dustin Hoffman, well known from The Graduate, Tootsie, Hook, along with Racing Stripes and The Tale of Despero. Throughout this movie, Shifu seems like a bitter martial arts master, especially when he had to train Po, despite at first not believing him to be the Dragon Warrior. Also, Shifu became a very sympathetic character after Po learns that Tai Lung's betrayal led to his cold and distant behavior. Next we have Master Oogway, voiced by Randall Duke Kim, whom has been in 2 of the John Wick films, along with Dragon Ball Evolution and The Last Airbender. Now, Oogway is the senior headmaster of the Jade Palace and the creator of Kung Fu. He's highly venerated for his wisdom, along with his knowledge and his experience, and he's considered by many to be a sage. Plus, Oogway was known as the greatest Kung Fu master in history, with no other reputation surpassing his. During the movie, Oogway was the one to choose Po as the Dragon Warrior, much to everyone's surprise, and I like that his warmth and acceptance of Po serves as a foil to the strict and abrasive Shifu. Also, I thought the part where Oogway ascends into the spirit realm was the saddest part of the movie. Another character to talk about is Po's dad, Mr. Ping, voiced by the delightful James Hong, best known from Big Trouble in Little China, Pixar's Turning Red, Mulan, Wendell and Wild, and Hero. Now, Ping is the owner of the most popular noodle shop in the Valley of Peace. And to me, during this movie, he can be a bit hyperventilating, and Po is afraid of disappointing him. However, one of the most interesting scenes involving Mr. Ping is when he reveals that the special ingredient of his secret ingredient soup is nothing, which meant that the people only had to believe that it was special. Last but not least, we come to the movie's villain, Tai Lung, voiced by Ian McShane, whom I remember from Shrek the Third, Henry Selick's Coraline, the fourth Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and My Father's Dragon. To me, Tai Lung is a vicious snow leopard, and I think his supernatural strength is absolutely incredible, and it really makes him dangerous. Plus, the fact that he was raised by Shifu gave him a lot of character development and build-up, and I thought his backstory was absolutely tragic. Also, I was surprised that Po managed to defeat him using the whooshy finger hold. Other actors in the film include Dan Fogler as Shifu's messenger, Zhang, and the late Michael Clark Duncan as Commander Vachir. And now on to my final words. Overall, Kung Fu Panda is a fantastic film to come from DreamWorks Animation. It has clever humor, fantastic characters, a beloved underdog story, amazing kung fu choreography, and gorgeous CGI animation. And trust me, this is a movie that you'll definitely want to own, with the fourth film coming up next year. And so, I give this film the highest rating of 100%. Well, that's all for now, but I'm not done yet. Join me for my next episode, where I look at the Dragon Warrior's superior sequel. To be continued.